So we bought our first rental property in 2019 for essentially $6,288 out of pocket. And I wanted to tell the story on how we were able to do that. So back in 2019, we were about 6 months married, living in an apartment, and we hated the idea of paying rent to a landlord. So we started looking at houses. We really had no idea what we were doing. We were completely clueless. I'm sure everyone around us were wondering what we were thinking, but nonetheless, we came across a house for $247,000. It was a 4-bed, 3-bath, way more than what we needed. We definitely didn't need that big of a space, but we bought it anyways. We were able to get a conventional loan for 10% down, so at closing, we owed $27,000 for the down payment. It was a new build, so it didn't require any updates or repairs, which was nice. We moved in, loved it, it was awesome. After about 3 months of living there, I read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad. And in the book, he tells a story about a young couple who gets a new job, and immediately they go buy a nice house. And the moral of the story was that they became house poor from the house payment. They recommended instead to buy a house hack, which is essentially where you buy a duplex or a triplex. You live in one unit and you rent out the other units. I actually can't remember if that was in the book or if I saw that online, but around that time I found out what house hacking was. So at that point I kind of realized that we made a mistake of buying a nice brand new house all to ourselves. So for the next few months I did a bunch of research on real estate investing and how all that works. And once we had lived there for a full year, we packed up our stuff and bought a duplex, which I'll talk about in another video. But when we bought this duplex, we kept that original house as our first rental. The numbers still made sense even though it was just one unit. So we rented it out. In the beginning, it cash flowed probably between $200 to $300. This was back in 2020. Today, it cash flows about $800 a month, which is awesome. And the way that we were able to come out of pocket $6,288 is because we did a cash out refinance about 2 years after we bought it. Basically what that means is since our house had gone up in value, we were able to refinance and pull out the equity that we had in the house. So the money that we pulled out on the cash out refinance was $20,712. So if you take our original down payment of $27,000 and you minus the $20,712, that gives you $6,288 out of our own pocket at the end of the day. Obviously, it took some time to get to this point. We had to put more money down in the beginning, and it was definitely lucky timing in the market around COVID time. But what was nice about it is our payment stayed essentially the same. Our interest rate when we first bought the house was 4.5%, I believe, or around there. And when we did the cash out refinance, our rate dropped to 3.5%. So that's why we ended up deciding to do that, was because our rate was gonna go down, our payment was gonna stay the same, and we were gonna be able to pull out over $20,000. That rental has been awesome so far. It's cash flowed pretty much every single month for the past 6 years that we've had it now. And we'll continue to keep it for as long as we can. Hopefully that wasn't too jumbled. If you have any questions, please let me know. Bye-bye.